everybody have their prayer with them? The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. What we plan to do this week on our schedule, Jack and I talked about it. How many people did their brain? Are your two minds, a left and a right brain? Let's have a discussion on that. How did everyone turn out? How many turned out more left and more right, or? Okay.
One side was 9, one side was 10.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Good. That's good. Did everybody kind of balance out? I think that's the whole process of it all, is getting your brain balanced, because sometimes if you don't, and you all read the ideas what happens with the right brain. A right brain, you're more aware of things, but sometimes you don't always connect it because you're someplace else. And with your right brain, you need pictures in order to help you get through to it all. And also, a lot of times a right brain person see things the way they are. They don't have a different perception. It's pretty direct. And sometimes they have a poor sense of time. And they rely on intuition and instinct for things. And you're laughing. And sometimes they have sometimes good sense of relationships, but sometimes it's, they have a hard time in relationships. And they're very intuitive. And with this intuitive, sometimes it gets them in trouble because they're not as logical sometimes as they should be. Where a left-brained person is very logical. They have to have, the data to back everything up. And a right-brained person, they think more holistically on holistic lines, where left-brained people will kind of just go and listen to what someone else tells them. Like they'll go, they won't take, if it's a medical doctor, holistic, they're going to take the medical doctor because that's backed up by fact. And also, with left brain, a lot of times they're very organized, like super, super organized. That it's almost sometimes like it can be like a little obsession going on there. And that's with like all things, not just their things around their home, but that's how they are with everything they do. And sometimes that's good, and to be organized. I wish my left part of the brain would work a little bit more like that, but it doesn't. We all have to. We have to work on the parts that we're weakest at. I think that's the whole part of it. Do you agree, Jack?
I agree. Ask Scott, is he left or right brain?
Scott, are you left or right brained? Well, when I said that to my, what did you say? Full brain?
Typically, my right brain in the past 7 years.
Right. Well, sometimes I have to laugh. Ask if you have any grandchildren. Ask them, are you right brain or left brain? When I asked Nicholas, he said, I'm full brain. And maybe that's what we need to be, full brain. But anyway, I thought it was a good example of what they're working on this scientifically. And we went over all the parts of the brain last week. And I gave that little handout. Jack, did you get yours?
I have mine.
Okay, this little handout came out of...
Oh, that one. I don't have that.
And it shows you, we're going to talk about the senses, but I gave you this copy ahead of time simply because it shows you that all of these things are in Latin, and all of this goes to the 5 senses. It connects your brain to the 5 senses. You see this? How it all works together. And this is why it was so important that we talk about the brain. Because here it said in the back, if you hear, man's inner 4 centers are illustrated in the ancient Chinese meridian medical text called Ling Su. And but the spiritual brain in the 17th century illustrates by Robert Flood shows the facilities of reason, intellect, and mind, the correspondence between the soul and the 5 senses. the imagined world, and the seat of memory and motion. So, because tonight we're going to talk about the senses, but before we do that, we're going to do the song.
Oh.
Should we do the little bit of the song, and I want you all to get quiet, and,
Well, didn't you want to do the exercises first
yeah, you can.
to get them relaxed?
Okay, let's do it. Up on your feet.
No, they're going to stay in their seat for,
Oh, you're
for,
going to see that.
for now. I got to keep changing it to keep them in line.
Oh, okay.
How many of you have been doing your relaxation exercises? I like to show the hands.
Let's see it. I need to do it.
Okay, that's good. And as you go along and do it more, it'll even work better for you. Now, let's get our feet on the floor. Put your legs out a little. What we're going to do is we're going to tense the parts of our body and hold it, and then you will release it and let them relax. So we're going to start with our feet. So let's tense our toes. Tense them up, tense them up, tense them up, tense them up. Relax, let them go. Let's do the rest of your foot, the heel and the sole of your feet. Let's tense them up, hold it, and release. Now we'll go to your calves in your legs. Tense your calves up, tense them up, tense them. Hold it, and relax. Now we go into the thigh area, your upper leg. Tense those thigh muscles, tighten them up, hold it, relax. Now we go into the buttocks in your midriff there. Tense those buttocks up, tense them up, tense them. Hold it, relax. Oh, that feels so good. That's good to build muscle too, you know. Tense those buttocks up when you're walking. You'll get the cutest little buttons in the world. I'm living proof. Okay, now we'll go to the stomach area. Okay? Tense those stomach muscles. Hold them, relax. Now we'll go into the shoulder area, your upper chest. Tense those muscles. Hold them, and relax. Now go out into your arms. Tense all your arm muscles and your hands. Tense them. Hold it, relax. Now go into your neck area. Tense those neck muscles and hold them, relax. Now we're going to do our face. It's pretty hard to do your face and your head at the same time, but don't laugh. Try to tense all those facial muscles. Tighten them up. Hold it, relax. Now, last but not least, I would like to do what I call the head roll. What you do is you roll your head to the right, back, to the left, forward. Do that about 4 times. Roll, and you will feel or hear cracks in your neck. And that's because you're too tense. Just roll them around. Until they don't crack anymore. Very good. Now, let's all stand up. We're going to pretend we're ballet dancers. Bring your arms up above the head. Shake them a little. Okay? Now, bend to your left. Bend to your left. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Bring it back up. Now we're going to go to the right. Hold it, hold it. Relax, bring them up. Okay, let's shake it all out. Just shake it all out. Okay, feels good. Now you can sit down. And now we will do our meditation with music. And as we start, remember we do 3 7-fold breaths. Breathe in for 7, hold for 7, exhale through your mouth violently for 7. And we'll do that 3 times, and then I want you just listen to the music and enjoy. Okay, do your breathing now. Go.
let's take a nice deep breath. Doesn't that make you feel so surrounded? How many people felt the surrounding of the music and the protection and everything? Our tape is scratched, but I'm gonna try to get some from her. And we just got the tape back, so we're gonna try to get tapes if anybody wants them. Today what we're gonna talk about Today what we're going to talk about is the senses. Now last week we talked about how the brain had all the different parts and how the senses are so important to meditation and to learn how to use them. How many people practiced with just listening to one song all week, that they really heard the song, heard the music? Well, this is very important in any type of meditation, because you're going to hear different sounds, and those different sounds can distract us in meditation. How many people get distracted when they try to get quiet and a car goes by or something? That's why it takes practice to listen. And we always try to do that with music, because then you learn, you can meditate with music. A lot of times years ago, a lot of us learned to meditate just through hymns, listening to the music and the words to engulf our soul. What does this paper say? The spiritual part is all connected to the soul, all the senses. So that's what is so important when we talk about that. Because when we get into a meditation, our consciousness is like a flashlight. These little lights are a searchlight, and it's going to go in there, and it's going to look around to all those parts, and it's going to illuminate what we experience during that meditation. Does everybody understand that? Sometimes we don't realize that, because we think, well, everything's just going to come to us. No, sometimes we got to work at it. That's why it's so important in a guided meditation to follow direction. Not that you're out here somewhere when someone's telling you to stay here. And I know a lot of people have been in meditation classes and they were told they could wander. Actually, I don't believe Reverend Jack and I want you to do that. Because what we want you to do is get your sense to what he's telling you. If he's going to tell you to look at a flower, that's what we want. It could be any kind of flower, but we want you to base and focus on that. That's so important in meditation. If he tells you to hear a bird singing, that's important in the meditation, because you have to follow direction in order to you're organizing this whole brain here. You're working with all of these things. You see this? This comes from the 17th century. So you see how everything is connected to all parts. So we got to become organized in our head, and that's why we have to follow direction.
The power of concentration,
Right.
too, is
The
so
power
important.
of focus, of concentration, that we learn to visualize and things like that. It's all coming in line. And then we have our senses are like little windows in our brain, and those little windows can open up. And this is what every time we're touching something, it's like a little window, and it's going to say, oh, that's going to the brain, and it's going to open up that part. And that's why it's so important for us to follow directions. I can't stress that enough. Because we have to process these things as we go along, and we have to learn and to experience that journey in meditation. We got to experience the journey. That's the important thing. Then we have the sense of sight. Now, how is that important? Well, we're going to look at something, and everything usually has color, doesn't it? So we're going to say, oh, well, what color is that? That's the color because we see that. And that's our perception of it if everything is organized right in our brain. Now, some people, they can look at red, and a colorblind person is going to see that entirely different. They can look at blue and see yellow or gray. I don't know what the opposite of red is anymore.
Red is brown.
Brown, like brown,
Muddy brown is red.
So you see, that's part of in their brain that is not connecting with the sight. So that's what's so important when we're saying we want you to see a yellow flower, it's important for you to try to see yellow. And that is practice. That is practice. It's usually that we don't realize that sight is so important in meditation because 95% we can meditate with our eyes closed. But hopefully that we'll have to have class downstairs and we can do a sight meditation. A sight meditation is you'll sit there, you'll be guided, and you'll see these colors on the screen coming at you. That's wonderful to see color. It teaches you how to see color in meditation. See color, and your perception is all different. So we're going to do that one of these days. I was hoping we could have all that stuff by now, but we'll have to go downstairs to do that.
Right.
Because we need to have the TV. And not everybody sees blue. You might see blue this shade. Someone else is going to see a variation in shade. And that doesn't mean that it's not right. Blue is blue, but we see things differently. It's how we perceive them. Why do we worry about the sight? Why are we talking about the sense of sight? Because when you get further along and it's visualization. Now we all know what we talked about. They talk about the secret, the law of attraction, the law of visualization. How many we read all those books with Sandra Ray and all these people about visualization. It's all wonderful. But do they tell you how to practice to get that visualization? So you sit there and you say, well, I'm going to do this. And you want to see, and it's just not working. What happens after it doesn't work after a while? We get disgusted. Well, along the way, this week you're going to have homework. We're going to have you just look at maybe one color. And look at it, and then you're going to close your eyes. You're going to look at it for 5 minutes. You're going to close your eyes, and you're going to see that color right here. When you lose the color, you open your eyes again, and you're going to see that color. And as you do this, you're practicing, because you're practicing seeing that dot. And pretty soon you'll be able to pick up this rose, and you'll be able to look at that rose, and automatically it's going to be right in your visual sight. Because that's a very important part of our exercise that Jack did the first time with the rose meditation. That was wonderful. But we need to have you start visualizing these things. And some people, how many people have a hard time visualizing? Okay, see, we got to work on that because it's hard. Today, when I was doing my practicing, I thought, well, I'm going to try this color thing. I'm going to try to do purple, all right? It took me 15 minutes to get the purple that I wanted. See what I'm saying? So don't give up. Take your time, and you're going to find out it's going to help you in visualization. And what happens when we visualize? What happens? You bring it to you. And then we have the sense of sound. Now, remember we said listen to music, hear the sound. Listen to it, hear it. Listen to a bird. Just listen to the tone, the different tones of it. And when everybody, like supposing you're standing at a train track, and the train is going by, and you're hearing a whistle. You're hearing that whistle. And then when it goes past you, you get to and you're hearing them blow their whistle at the other end or the other town or wherever they're at their next. It sounds different. This is what is different tones, different pitches. That's how it is with everything we hear. How about did you ever sit aside someone who's tone deaf? But they, in their mind, are singing beautiful. But they don't know they're tone deaf. And sometimes that's hard for people who are singers to listen to that. But you know what? I always give him credit because you know what? By the time he gets up there, it sounds, the angels think it's great. So no matter how you sing, what is that doing? You're practicing the vocal cords here with sound. Later on, we're going to do some meditations with the O's, the I's, and all of these different meditations that are going to open up different centers in all of your brain and your meditation. So, and in our meditation, we need to pay attention to those sounds. Because, like I said, a meditation might be very important for you to get one little sound that you hear. And it might be important, that sound might penetrate to your brain to do an opening, maybe in a meridian, maybe in a nerve cell that needs to be opened. Do you get what I'm getting at? So everything in harmony. Now I'm not saying you should go play heavy metal because they have that totally, they totally know that that does something to your brain. But I have to go back a couple years, like about 25 years, when our teenagers were playing Pink Floyd and all that heavy duty stuff. And I used to scream, turn down the music, turn it down. Thinking, oh, these kids are gonna be, you know. Today, I don't know what Gordon plays. Gordon's still into that. He works with a lot of teenagers, so he's in with a lot of that, the music they do today, because he works at Kid Peace. But most of the time, Chris plays classical music. If you go up to his house, he's gonna have classical music on his thing. But that's he learned to relax through that. So we can all learn to relax, whatever works for you. So I don't know, and they play music to the water and things like that. I haven't really read up on all that material. Alice did a class on that one time, a lecture. But, and I'm sure it does affect us some way. It affects water, we know that. But I don't know how it affects the brain. I haven't read anything factual, but it has to do something. I would think so. I don't know how many years, all depends how many years you do it. You know, what happens? We change as we grow, we're progressing, so we change. And then how about the sense of touch? How many people know that you can have water and you can feel it with one hand and it's cold. You can feel it with the other hand and it's warm. But when you put them together, they're still cold and warm. We're going to hopefully experience that, but we have to do that downstairs. Don't ask me how it works, but it does. They taught us that many years ago in mind control. How you can have one, they tell you, your hand will be cold, your hand will be warm. And you think, impossible. But when you put it in the water, one is cold and one is warm. So we should experience that one time, Jack, could do that. But we need to do it downstairs where we have buckets of water and things, because it's fun. And the same way with fire, when you're in, like heat, supposing you're in front of a fireplace, it could be a fireplace or outside in a campfire, and you go up to the fire is going to feel different to every person. Some people will enjoy the warmth,